Assistant Professor of Medicine and Neurology at Mount Sinai. I'm here with Dr. Teshamae Monteith, who is an Associate Professor of Neurology and the Chief of Headache Medicine at the University of Miami. How are you?
Great, thank you so much for being here.
Likewise. So Dr. Monteith has become the chair of the membership committee here at the International Headache Society, and I want to ask you, congrats on the, becoming the chair. What would you like to see now being in this position?
Wow, great question. And so I just completed my 2-year term on the Board of Trustees, and that was just an incredible honor. I learned so much from my colleagues and very grateful for that opportunity. But what I've learned, and something that's pretty obvious in clinic, is that we need to really expand the reach and our membership, right? The International Headache Society is the authority on headache disorders globally, with the mission to increase headache education, science, research, but also connections across the globe, right? And so we need to recruit the best minds. Let's get those bright minds and let them know about our exciting field. And people that have been in the field for a long time, and maybe they've not engaged globally, let's welcome them also, because we're a welcoming society. And we really need to grow our membership and the activities of our membership. And I'm so excited about all the initiatives that have taken place, especially over the past few years. But I think we need to make it on that next level. And each member can do that and tell their colleagues, tell their friends, bring them to the meetings. But between meetings, we need to also keep up that momentum.
Very so. You and I are both active back in the United States, doing outreach. But it's sort of, as you said, this outreach is the most important way of developing more successful headache doctors. And I agree. I think that's so much needed on a global scale, and I think you would agree with me that we got to where we are from good mentoring. And, not everyone has access to these kinds of things. And by providing that, I think that could be revolutionary for headache medicine. What are measures you want to do to sort of increase our outreach on a global scale to countries that, don't have neurology societies, headache specialists?
Yeah, so, headache is such an underrepresented field, just broadly, even in high-income countries, medium-income countries, and low-income countries, absolutely, where there's only so few neurologists in the country. And so, as you mentioned, we need to engage our members more, and we need to let people know about our field and the importance of our field and be willing to educate. And we now have opportunities to educate people virtually. And the world is a big globe, but not as big as it may seem. There's ways to connect, there's ways to communicate, there's ways to educate. And the IHS is already doing this, but it's just moving it on a different scale. And as you say, reaching these parts of the world where headache is not well represented.
And would you want to implement measures to outreach to non-neurologists where, for instance, in there are countries where even neurologists are even rare? Like, what would be sort of things you want to do to sort of increase outreach in that sort of scenario?
Absolutely. In order to improve access, we absolutely need to engage primary care doctors, nurse practitioners, but other allied specialists like physical therapists and nurse practitioners. We really need to do this. We need to welcome them into our society, because the headache specialists and the neurologists won't be able to manage this global burden of 1 billion people worldwide, even with migraine alone.
That makes me very happy, to hear that. As I, trained originally as a GP, as an internist, and that's something I've gotten a lot of support in the International Headache Society, and also back at home. But I think that's a great objective, to put forth globally. And do you also, in addition to providers, are you thinking about doing some more educational stuff? Like, I know we have a great juniors committee, and there's a lot of mentoring there, but how would you sort of see expanding sort of those capabilities?
Yeah, well, I can tell you a little bit about our new initiative on the regional committees. The IHS has established regional committees, and part of that is to collaborate with the scientific committee, the education committee, communications committee, and make sure that we're disseminating all of these wonderful opportunities, the visiting professorships, the potential for regional conferences, training courses, observerships, establishing headache centers, or helping to coach regional headache centers that then these observerships can take place in an affordable and sustainable way. And so part of that is working with juniors and broadening that base and really just letting people know that we do have these opportunities. And all these opportunities may differ amongst regions, where this region or this country may need a little bit more of this, where this country or this region may need a little bit more of this. So what we've done is we've collected this wonderful dynamic group that will work on this mission as a group and then bring it back to their regions. And the plan is to have both senior members as well as junior members to be able to support each other and learn from, regions like ARCH, for example, with 15 countries, just completely fabulous, that are doing it right, that are doing it well, and just making sure that we're listening and we're understanding what the needs are, so that we can really assure longevity and sustainability.
And it's so, where headache medicine has come a very long way. When I think of when I even started medical school and where we are now, how these societies have grown, and even in the past 2 years, the numbers of the IHS has grown quite a bit. I believe it's over 2,000 now. Are there any sort of ideas or objectives you have for not just the junior members, but overall membership to sort of increase those numbers?
Yeah, I think there's lots that we can do. There's lots that we can do between meetings. We talked about the regional meetings, but I think there's social media. We need to let people know that we're here and what our mission is. Of course, it's science, it's education, but it's also collegiality, and it's also support of one another. And we're a fresh organization. We're open to new ideas. And so we want people to know that we're here for them, and we're here to support their care of patients suffering with headache disorders. And so, and then there's strategic measures to do so, but I think it starts with that outreach and reaching out to people that don't even know about us, and that are seeing these headache patients, that are concerned about how to manage this migraine or how to treat someone with that is pregnant with headache, or some of these more rare conditions, pressure-related disorders, because they're out there and these patients need care and they may not have the access to a headache specialist, which was mentioned. So we need to be able to support them. We are doing this in a number of ways. As you know, cephalalgia is now open access. So we're breaking barriers all the time. The Learning Center has now posted many of their educational content on social media completely for free. And so I think that's just we want to be aligned with our mission. And I think with just a few of those efforts and many more that's planned, I think we can really make a dent on this global burden of disease.
I would love to see more than just a meeting every 2 years. This is one of my favorite meetings, so that'd be fantastic to see. And I'm happy to hear, outreach being the foremost center. For most people, they hear all about drug development, which is very important. We've had such a tremendous improvement and development in different therapeutic agents that came out. But my soapbox is, outreach, and I'm very happy, to know that the IHS is doing measures like this because, we take for granted the countries we come from that we do have established headache specialists, we have established headache centers. Being at this meeting, I was talking to a physician from Cameroon, where only him and one other individual take care of headaches for an entire country, and that's, I find that like, whoa, that's something I never, thought of. So I'm happy to hear the IHS is having these, missions in place to improve care in these areas that like, they're not even able to see a neurologist.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I always say is that I think our greatest resource is really one another. And, I'm happy to hear any ideas you have or any ideas that any of our members have to really, sort out how we can best approach this problem. And so I think being open to innovation, because we have the technology, we have the resources to be able to utilize them in a way that we can reach the majority of people that we need to reach. And that's a lot of people.
I want to thank you for being here again. This is Dr. Monteith, who is Associate Professor of Neurology at the University of Miami and Chief of the Headache Center. And I'm Dr. Cohen, Assistant Professor of Medicine and Neurology at Mount Sinai.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.